Hello there, everybody. This is Tim Green with Rattle Magazine. Welcome to Poetry Spawn Live, the only Sunday news show dedicated to exploring current events through the lens of poetry. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm streaming live on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. Hello to everybody who's watching already. Kathy Gibbons, Caitlin Bucksbaum, Eve Colson, Neil Lemery, Charlotte Friedman, Linda Crawford. Good to see you all. Thanks so much for joining us on your Sunday. Now, this is an open mic poetry show mostly, so let me let you know how it works before we get started. Now, if you'd like to share a poem, Poetry Respond is for poems written in the past week about events that happened in the past week. That's how the Rattle series works. Poetry Respond Live is a little different, though, in that it doesn't have to be a poem written in the last week. So if you have an older poem that's about something that involves current events, you can share that too. Feel free. A couple weeks ago, we had who was it? James Reagan shared a poem that was older. It's happened a few times. So if you have an older poem, like Friday was Juneteenth. Today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, and to myself as well. My kids are in the other room next door. If you have a Father's Day poem, feel free to share that, or just anything that relates to the news of the last week. That's what we're doing. We're sitting around talking about the news through poetry, and how you do that. Send a chat message to me at Skype to Rattle Poetry. Find me there. Send a message and say you'd like to share a poem. And if you submitted it over Submittable, I can show it on the screen as you read. If you didn't submit it, though, you can always just email it to openmic, all one word, openmic at rattle.com. Openmic@rattle.com. You can also call the phone number, 818-850-7727. Just let it ring a few times, and I will call you back sometime in the next hour if we can get to you. And then you can read your poem then. So there are a lot of ways to share poems. And let's see, trying to make sure everything works before we get started. There we go. Good to see a good crowd. I thought, I was worried. I keep forgetting to add the banner at the bottom of our morning email on Sundays that we're doing this. So everybody who shows up is just people who know about it. I didn't really advertise it, so I'm so glad. And people sitting around using the notification system, and which is a good reminder to subscribe. If you're on Facebook, you're watching this here, and you want to get a notification when we go live, which is 3 times a week. We have 3 live video shows. All you do is you follow us, of course, and like us. And then there's and if you click on the following button, there's a notifications. You can turn on notifications, and then you'll get to know when there's a video. When we're live, it'll just pop right up as a Facebook notification. The same thing on Facebook. That's the bell. On YouTube, it's the bell on YouTube. So subscribe on YouTube, then click the bell, and you'll get a notification when we're live too. So everybody who is watching right now live, I think, has that bell, because I didn't really set up any advertising this week. But I'm so glad you found us and could join us. One thing I also wanted to say, last week as I was going through the show, editing out the dropout that we had, I noticed that I had for a second it showed the submission screen on Submittable, and I had poems listed with a label called bad. And when I saw that, I just felt really bad that said bad. And I just want to let everybody know that every submission that we pass on ends up with a bad label, because how it works, we always have a sort of a no, maybe, or yes categories. So I'll read all the submissions. I'll put them in either the no, maybe, or yes. Then I'll reread the maybes, and I'll either move them to no or yes. And then I'll reread the yes for however many slots we have. That's how we've always done it. I don't know how else you do it. And so that's how we do it. But when we moved to Submittable, they had yes, no, maybe used for their voting system. So I thought it would be confusing. So I made that, I think it said bad, decent, good, just to signify yes, no, maybe. But just so this doesn't happen again, I just felt awful that somebody thought that we were saying their poem was bad. That's not what I was doing. So I did change it for the future. And here are labels now. Now the what used to be bad is now just no, and then maybe and yes, which is what it really means. And to keep them at the top of this, we only have 10 labels, and these are ones we always use. So to keep them at the top, I put the little zeros and ones. So if you see that next to your name, that just means we passed on it. But it might have been in the maybe or yes category. It doesn't mean that it was an immediate no. That's just where everything ends up that we don't publish. Anyway, today's poem is by Yvonne, a Philadelphia poet. She wishes she could make it. She had a prior engagement right now. I talked to her just before, over email, before we went live today. But she read the poem on our voicemail system, so you can listen to it here. And here it is. I just loved, if something does form really well, does meter and rhyme really well, in a way that's memorable and feels that sort of powerful, authentic rhyme, it's always high up in my list. So I just loved this poem the first time I read it. And I continue to love it right now. And of course, it's about Juneteenth and the positive directions, I guess, that we're moving forward, changing. Well, I'll let Yvonne explain it to you here.
Malcolm X Park, in honor of Juneteenth 2020, is followed by this footnote. After the urban turmoil of the 60s summers, Black Oak Park on the western edge of University City in Philadelphia was renamed Malcolm X Park, with a bandstand for music, drama, and preachers. In 2019, it became the focal point for the city's annual Juneteenth celebrations. Malcolm X Park. Curbed, a dark bronze matron of the hunt, held in check a wound-up spike-eared runt in her left fist, and in her right, two docile, one colossal breeze. A motley crew. You babysit dogs? I winked and presumed while rush-hour wheels of all sorts zoomed by us, 5 commoners on foot. No, all mine. How multicultural, I thought. Then 12 paws sprang, 2 clogs in tight pursuit for the park. Encounters like this uproot old superstitions. Black folks do this, white folks do that. No household pooch had we. The bright heart mother mourned in her youth's moody land died from chicken bones. Some strange evil hand. Grown and wed, she had no scraps to spare, no loss fed. Besides, landlords hated pets, sometimes a kid. Once, a park-bound teen, I babysat Sis, terrified. Doberman teeth lunged. I spat. Is he untied? Nope. A benched, slack rope. His porcelain mistress, greener grass on her mind, sighed, oblivious. Nevertheless, the park turned with the world. Gone with the wind, bright, tiny flowers swirled. Jazz, gospel, hip-hop planted in their place. Planted? Well, even the bard now has space.
And that was Yvonne reading her poem "Malcolm X Park," and it's from a work in progress, and that's why I was hoping to talk to her today. From Historic Preservation, which is something she's working on, a memoir in verse, and that's what this is from. That's what she was working on this week. So thanks so much to Yvonne for sharing that. That's today's daily poem at rattle.com. Malcolm X Park by Yvonne. You can visit Yvonne's website at iwilla.com. That's IWILLA.com. So thanks again to Yvonne for sharing that. Now let's move into the open mic portion of the show. So far we only have 3 people who are asking in. So do give me a call at the number. I'll give the number again on screen. That is 818-850-7727 if you would like to share a poem, or you can send me a chat message over Skype to Rattle Poetry, all one word. Let's see. Let's do Actually, if a call's coming in right now. Well, I'll wait. I'll follow the protocol, and I'll go in the order they were received. Because I think when I answer the phone, people are surprised. And one thing I should say too, if I call you, make sure you turn off your video, because there's a delay. It's a 30-second delay or so, and that'll be really confusing if because I'm calling you for the future, and it's confusing otherwise. So make sure you turn off your video when the phone rings. Let's see. Okay, so we got a lot more people pouring in now. Thanks so much, everybody. And here's Vidya Venkat. We're going to call her up first. She's been on here before. Phone is ringing. We'll try her. Oh, she did not answer. Make sure you turn your ringer on too if you're using Skype, because sometimes the ringers are off or they're silenced or something. So, oh, she's calling back. Here we go. Hello, Vidya. Hi. Let's see. Let me pull you in. I can't hear you. Can you? Oh, I'm not getting any sound out of you. Is your microphone on? I think I can tell. You can hear me, I think. Here you go. Yeah, there you go. You're on now. Okay. Well, hi. So how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
And,
I have missed being on Rattle Poetry Live for a while now.
well, we'd love to have you. And you're calling from? Is it Calcutta that you're from?
I'm calling from Chennai.
Okay.
I'm at home because of the COVID lockdown. I'm at home right now. Yes.
Cool. And what poem did you want to share today?
I actually wanted to share a Father's Day poem, and this poem is actually this is an old poem of mine which was published in my first book of poems that I published. I was a undergrad in college when I got my first book of poems out, so it's been a while. It was in 2006, and the poem is called To Daddy.
Okay, cool. Well, I have it ready whenever you're ready.
Yes, so I can start reading.
Yep, go ahead.
To Daddy. Dad, do you remember that creamy yellow t-shirt which I wore as a baby with these words, I love Daddy, inscribed on it? Look, here is a picture of it. I still love you, Dad. 20 years later, from that day when this picture was taken, I still love you for the way in which you would come and wake me up in the morning, singing those stupid old Tamil songs into my ear, so loud that I would get irritated and throw the pillows on you. I still love you for the way in which you would hide money in your spectacle case instead of your leather wallet, thinking that I wouldn't find out when I come asking for it. And you would believe your money is all safe inside it unless you find out how I had emptied it, sneaking into your room when you were away. I still love you for the way in which you would crack those dirty shit and fart jokes right when mom would sit down to eat the thing she hates the most and irritate her so much that she would walk out angrily and you would sing an old Kishore Das song to make her smile again. I still love you for the way in which you would bore me to death with all that philosophical talk of yours, and when I walk away disregarding you, you would say nothing, and with a serious nodding of the head, would convey that I am forgiven when I would come later and say sorry. I still love you, though you haven't stopped smoking those cigarettes. They are so suffocating. Remember, you had promised me long ago that you would? And taking rum, though I have shown you so many newspaper articles that talk about the ill effects of alcohol consumption, I care for you, Dad, and I just can't bear to see those chest bones now jutting out of your thin, frail frame. Oh, I know now what you would say. You would talk about the inevitability of death, that it must come one way or the other, and that it doesn't matter. But not this way, Dad. Not this way. for ever since you retired, you have been shrinking into some lonely corner and seem so distant, though I have you seated right next to me.
Thanks so much for sharing that. That was Vidya Venkat reading To Daddy, a very sweet poem and then sad at the end. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah. And I just wanted to also show the book that it got
Oh,
published
yeah, go
in.
ahead.
This is the book. And I was a teenager when I wrote most of the poems that were published in this one.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for sharing that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate it. Always nice to see you.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, let's see. Who is up next? Now let's do this. Let's see. I think it's Caitlin Buttbaum next. Hey, Caitlin.
Okay.
Okay, let me.
We're here.
Okay, there you go. How you doing today?
Pretty good. Trying to wake up still, but
Yeah,
getting there.
I've got my coffee too. I definitely need it.
Well, it's also an hour earlier here than it
that's
is
right.
there, and I do not wake up early on Sundays usually. So, except for this, now I do, I guess. But
Well, sorry for ruining your Sundays.
oh no, not at all.
So, what did you want to share today? I have, let's see, a Father's Day poem.
Yeah. So first I sent one that was kind of poets respondy, but I didn't like it very much. So
Okay.
when you said we can read Father's Day poems, I was like, oh. So yeah, the second one I sent you is called Canoe.
Yeah, I see
And I wrote that a couple days ago. The other poem I sent you, I wrote yesterday, so that's probably why it's not as good. But this was my first attempt at the golden shovel form because I just learned about that. So, yeah, I guess that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Oops, okay. Canoe, after Craig Santos Perez. I don't remember when my dad first said the little green boat was dangerous, the tide a treacherous thing of mutiny, prepared to silence those reliant on it, as sure as the sun rises. If we were to, say, tip over our tiny vessel on an ocean or lake or river, what then? We might find ourselves sleeping with the fishes that night, unable to right the rim or swim to safety, each paddle lost to the depths of the sea or something like it. Now, your experience may differ. Your tongue may click, tell me to rearrange my thoughts on this story, a front for the paranoid fears of a father. Maybe these letters are my internalization, the result of his desire to protect his daughters, form a safety net around us in our perilous canoe.
Thanks so much. I can definitely relate to that one, Caitlin. My daughter just turned 10, and I definitely want to protect her with a safety net around the perilous canoe of life, because it is a perilous canoe we're all riding in, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too because I actually just took a canoe out with a friend a few days ago also. And this thing with my dad in the canoe has, from when I was a little kid, we had the little green boat, as he called it, and he didn't want us to go out in that, really. And then the other thing I wanted to note just about the structure of this poem is that what I decided to do, I actually used his entire poem. His poem was so short.
Okay.
That I could use the whole thing. And I broke the stanzas up into the lines that he used. So his first line is when the tide. And so that's how I broke it up.
So when I read that, it was Craig Santos Perez, and the poem inspires when the tide of silence rises, say ocean then, with the paddle of your tongue, rearrange the letters to form canoe. It's a great poem, too.
I know. I just love that. And
Yeah.
I definitely don't think I could do it justice, but this was my attempt. And I thought about that. I was like, wait, can you really spell canoe with the same letters as ocean? And you can.
Yeah.
So that's super cool.
That's really cool. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for sharing that. And that's the cool thing about the Golden Shovel form. You get 2 poems for the price of 1. Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. Well, thanks, Caitlin. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Bye. Okay, let's see. Let's do Harpreet Kathuria. So we can find her poem for everybody as it's ringing. Hey, Harpreet. Let me pull you in one second. Here you go. You are live online. How are you doing today, and where are you calling from?
I'm from India.
Mm-hmm. And what poem did you want to share today?
I wish to share a foray into darkness,
Okay.
which I had submitted quite some time back.
Mm-hmm. I have it here. Yep. Whenever you're ready. Do you want to explain what it's about?
Well, yes. My poem is about George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the white officer who pinned him to death. At the same time, my poem is about all those people in the world who believe in exercising their might upon the vulnerable, upon the not so privileged.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Well, thanks. Go ahead. I have it ready. Go ahead and read it whenever you're ready.
So I have it on my
Okay.
phone.
Okay.
So I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Yeah,
begin. Go ahead.
Should I begin?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Besides, they will see. I guess the bandwidth of my connection is low. Maybe I'm not
you have
able
to read it from your own version. You can't read it from... Do you have the poem with you somewhere?
Yes, very much. I have it with me. So
Okay.
I'll read it from here.
There's a big delay too, so you can't read it from the YouTube video or anything. You have to read it from your own version somewhere.
All right. There's an epigraph to the poem first, which I'm going to read. Besides, they will see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America, a foray into darkness. An entire palette of colors before you. Which one would you choose? Find refuge in its haven. Black done to red is the color of sin. Multitudes arise, dance on fires, reenact, cajole white whims to just pass and say goodbye. Why bear venom secretly for sturdy hearts? Why nerve wreck them to yellow agonies you bore within yourself for different reasons? Maybe what was expected from life didn't come to pass. Maybe failures struck as you smelt your rugs at home. And they asphyxiated you to a length that you drove out on roads to measure the color of your own disasters. And wherever you saw it, you were seized by it. This time, a black bird you strangulated. Only the crow hasn't worn its chant. Only the morning hasn't decided to bring forth an offspring she won't call her own. Only you and I haven't yet said, cheers, black fire. Cheers,
Thanks
black
so
night.
much for sharing that. Yeah, thank you. That was Harpreet Kathuria reading her poem, A Foray into Darkness, for George Floyd. Beautiful images in that poem. Thanks so much for sharing it. I appreciate it. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you
it's
for
my
giving me
pleasure.
this
It's
platform.
wonderful to hear
Bye-bye.
from people all over. So thank you. Yeah. Bye. Okay, let's see. Who should we call next? Let's see. We have a 2-0. Well, let's see. Try this. Is that the right number? Let's see. Yeah. Okay. We'll do this 203 number.
Hello?
Hey, this is Tim with Rattle. Did you want to share a poem?
Sure, I'd love to.
And who am I talking to?
This is Charlotte Friedman.
Hey, Charlotte. I think I hear myself in the background, so shut off that stream so it doesn't get confusing.
And who am I talking to?
Oh,
Charlotte.
Can you shut that off?
that? Does that help?
Yeah, much better. Okay. Yeah, because we could hear that,
great.
and it's actually the delay isn't even that big today. It's kind of strange. It was only like a few seconds, so the internet must be very happy or something today.
Well, that's a change.
Yeah, that is. That's very unusual. Usually it's like a minute. But anyway, so this is Charlotte Friedman, and where are you calling from, Charlotte?
I'm calling from Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. And what poem did you want to share today?
I would share the one that I sent to you, The Flowers Sing, in memory of George Floyd.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. I found it already. Okay.
Okay. All right. Should I go ahead?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, unless there's something else you want to say to introduce it. Go ahead.
No, I can just say briefly that this, I was listening to a broadcast of George Floyd's funeral as I was walking in a field near our house. And by the end of the walk, I was in tears, just hearing the voices in the church, and came home and wrote this, starting with the list of flowers and then wove the text around it.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing this.
Yeah, thank you. The Flowers Sing, in memory of George Floyd. Morning broke at the fountain of praise, glory, hallelujah, and promises not to forget you. Me, I vow not to let blue ring the streets or be a bellwether of violence, loose with anger, sowing strife instead of peace. Honey, you wanted to touch the world. We suckle your words. Milk to feed a movement that grows fast like a weed. For you are not the rejected stone, but rock, cornerstone of the new. You rose up from the third ward, no baby's innocence, but breath, so much breath. And I can breathe, your baby girl shouts. Yellow letters painted bold in D.C., big like you want to be. Archangel, look down at us, weeping.
Thanks so much for hearing that, Charlotte. It's an excellent poem. The Flowers Sing, and his daughter was the most heartbreaking thing for me too. How did you come up with that form? That's such a unusual form. With the flower titles. Is that something that you just made up, or is that something that I've never seen that before? I don't think.
Oh, no, you just make it up. It really, when I walked in, I just listed as many flowers, wildflowers, as I could think of. Mm-hmm. There are wildflowers in this field where I was walking, not this many. And then I actually just posted them up on the wall, and I mean, it was a pretty physical writing, and then just tried to weave the text in.
Yeah, well, that is very cool. I think you invented a form. Hopefully other people will carry it on now. That's great.
Nice. That's great. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. Yeah, it's an excellent poem, too. Let's see. Angela Gartner. Hey, Angela. Can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey. Yep, I don't have the video. I don't know if you want to just do audio. Oh, here you come.
Hi.
Hello, nice to see you today. How you doing?
Good. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. And where are you calling from? I don't remember.
Ohio.
Ohio. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us again. Did you want to do Seize the Moment or something else?
I sent in Does It Matter?
Oh, Does It Matter? Yeah, that was the one above it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I sent like a new one. It says use this one.
Okay.
So,
I'll find that. No problem at all. Here we go. I got it on the email. Yeah. And just for everybody at home, that's just a reminder. It's open mic at rattle.com if you want to send a new version of something you submitted or something that you didn't submit at all. So, Does It Matter? Do you want to say anything about what this is about?
well, yeah, I actually wrote it last Sunday. I just finished my grad homework, and I was going through social media, and I was just getting mad. And I wrote this mad, really, because I saw the images of protesters and people, talking terribly about them, and I just got mad. Like, and in my mind, it was, does it matter? Does it matter who they are? Like, does it matter how they look? I got so angry. So I kind of wrote this mad, and I sent it off, and then I'm like, oh, so by the way, I wanted to say to all the poets, I'm even feeling, me following, this is a tough act to follow today. So I don't know if my poem's as good as everyone else's, but
I'm sure it's great. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. People are walking the street in big crowds or social distancing, waving their Black Lives Matter signs with fists pointing to the sky. Parents with strollers, children with megaphones, old men with canes, Amish standing strong looking like renegades, white, black, hoodies, hippies, dreadlocks, crew cuts. Why are we judging? These people are protesting for a cause. Can't they just be human beings? They are not looking for a fight, to wreak havoc, or promote violence, but standing for others' rights, peacefully united together. This movement matters to the people who are justly warned, shocked by the outpour of love, not wanting it to end until something is finally done.
Excellent. Thanks so much. That was Angela Gartner reading Does It Matter? Very good poem. Thanks so much for sharing that, Angela.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Let's see. Trying to remember who we already called. I think let's do this 281 number. Hopefully I didn't call already. I should have checked. Hey, this is Tim with Rattle. Did you want to share a poem?
Hi, Tim. It's Kathy Gibbons. And I'd love to share a poem. And
great. Well, good to hear from you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You and all the dads out there.
So you sent a poem. Let's see. You emailed me a poem.
Yes.
Oh, I think I hear myself in the background.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Sorry about that.
No problem at all.
Yeah, I sent a poem, and when you mentioned that we could submit an older one, this is pretty old. It's from 2016, and I had written it actually in response to an ekphrastic challenge at Rattle. And I think it sort of addresses some of the, or at least for me, it's meant to address some of the issues we're facing now with racial divide. And anyways, and it was written from a place of hope, because this weekend I woke for the first time a couple of days, and I kind of had hope to hope again. So anyway, and it was based, I also sent a picture of the original ekphrastic artwork, which was Castle Rig, a painting by Catherine Edmonds. But I sent it separately. I wasn't sure of the rules and regs about putting somebody else's artwork on there.
Yeah, we can show. Let me show it for everybody. So this was the original painting, and this was Castle Rig by Catherine Edmonds for the ekphrastic challenge, September 2016. So yeah, it's hard to we've been doing the ekphrastic challenge for a long time. I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a bit.
Yeah, and it was actually one of my first poems that I had written. So I hope it reflects the sensitivity that I meant it to, and the hope with which it was written.
Oh wow, this is one of the first poems you've written?
It was one of the, it was when I first started writing. Yeah.
That is very cool. Well, it's a pleasure to get to hear this. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Tim. It's called He Had a Dream. The iron giant sleeps with a dove in his lap, dreams of peace in gem-like landscapes, studded stones, no more thrown, nor arrows flown, nor crosses borne from sepulchres to dot the diorama with their flames and their blood, their division. No moats nor coats of armor, no ghosts wrapped in white, reeds and veils and streams of tears, but rising up to join the ravens with the doves, to repair all the tears in the fabric of this technicolor patch of dreams, black and white, now painted birds, stitched together in a circle, so it seems.
Very nice. Thanks so much for sharing that. It was Kathy Gibbons reading an older poem, He Had a Dream, and so from the old Phrastic Challenge from 2016. And yeah, it's nice to hear. I've actually was looking for more hopeful poems this week, doing the reading for Poets Respond, because I kind of get this sense of you sort of get the mood of people, and too much despair can really get you down, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, we're in the mood for some more positive stuff. So we have this poem we published today, and then on Tuesday I picked another poem that also ends on a note of hope. So everybody can look forward to that too. But that was He Had a Dream by Kathy Gibbons. Thanks so much for sharing that, Kathy.
Thank you, Tim. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Let's see. So if you would like to call in and share a poem, once again, all you have to do is send a Skype message to Rattle Poetry, all one word, or give me a call at 818-850-7727. Let's see, trying to see who I've called already and who I haven't. Ended. Okay, we have a 4. I think this is the last one who's on the list, so we might have a short show today. But this is a 415 number. But if there's still room, we have 20 minutes if anybody else would like to call in and share a poem.
Hello, this is Valerie.
Hey, Valerie, this is Tim with Rattle. Did you want to share a poem?
I sure do. Let me just mute where I am on this. I'm sorry, I'm having some technical problems. I'm a little behind, but I would like to read my poem. Can I just read it over the phone then, like this?
Yeah, this is perfect. And let me find it though. This was Valerie Jonas.
I actually publish under Valerie Hastings. That's my maiden name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Valerie Hastings. Okay, and this is When Pigs Could Fly. This is I really love this poem. I'm glad you called in to share it. This was one of the ones that that was in the yes folder if you were watching the labels note before, and ended up not fitting. But it was a very good one. So looking forward to sharing this. Is there anything you want to say? Thank you
so much
to introduce it.
Well, as I said in my sort of preamble to you when I submitted it, I think that the world right now just feels really different, and I wanted to kind of grab on to that feeling of hope. Mm-hmm. And I also mentioned in my preamble, this is the website I open first thing every morning, every day of my life. I'm just so grateful that we have this to come to all the time and to share with one another, particularly the Poets Respond piece that you do every week is just wonderful.
Well, thanks so much for saying that. Yeah. I'm here. So go ahead. I have it on the screen whenever you're ready.
Okay. When Pigs Could Fly. The first wave came in undulating V formation, piglets tiny as pugs drifting over streets in Minneapolis, Washington in late spring. Later, potbellies could be seen overhead like jumbo jets, followed, some say, by great Palawan bearded sows all the way from the Asian archipelago. These were long-haul flights, miracles really, island hopped across the Pacific to San Francisco, Walnut Creek. The people were afraid at first, shut their doors, closed their blinds so as not to be judged by pigs passing outside their windows. But they began to notice how the pigs worked in pairs, the way they circled their penmates as each first sprouted wings, the pierce of feather and bone through such soft flesh, painful, but shouldered so bravely. And even as they transformed, the pigs remained true to themselves, compassionate, cheerful even, some opening the gates of their captivity to let the others out, a small passel at first, then the unstoppable droves of youngsters pushing through in places like Sioux City, Iowa, Northfield, Minnesota, Clinton, North Carolina. They self-taught takeoff and landing techniques, giving themselves names like Zoomer, Barky, and Mad Max, always clean and fond of order. The tide began to change, and there was a move to take the word porker out of the dictionary entirely, while the farmers stood agape, sounders of swine taking flight over their still frozen fields and over the towns of helmeted cops who we had stopped calling pigs, who we had stopped calling cops, because they too were humbled and awed by what they saw in the sky. But there were also the bacon lovers and pulled pork eaters, the sausage and scrapple dreamers, the other white meat wanters who started their own movement when hell freezes over, who objected to the removal of words from the past. Those who were so fearful of change they could no longer parse nuance between black spotted and pink. How could they be blamed for what others had eaten before them? And what about the others? Next it would be the bovines, the salmon, deer, and cocks in their strutting red and yellow feathers seeking reparation. It was 2020, the year of the pig, a dark time difficult for us to imagine, so long before we were born, when the whole world was locked down, pulled apart, afraid of dying, a time when mothers told their own daughters, there will come a day when we part ways over which news channel you watch. Anger burned, and the land was a rage of promise. The mothers and fathers who had lost so much, grandmothers, grandfathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, whose contract with this world was broken, dreams caught in the throat, they were afraid, too, of how things repeat but never change. But then the pigs flew. They kept flying day after day that year. It was irrefutable. The fact of their earthbound bodies lifted up over the darkened houses, flying. There were some who said it would never happen.
Thanks so much. That was When Pigs Could Fly. Just such a vivid, imaginative poem. Thanks. And that was Valerie, what was the name you published under?
Hastings.
Valerie Hastings.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that, Valerie. It's really great to see you read that.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Yeah, my pleasure. Have a good one.
Okay. All right. Okay, you too. Bye.
Let's see. We have we have a 360 number to call now. This might be Diane Knox, I'm wondering, because we just got an email from Diane. Hi, this is Tim with Rattle. Did you want to share a poem?
I did. I sent it in. I'm turning this off.
Yeah, no problem. Is this Diane Knox?
Yeah, it is.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, I just got that.
Okay.
Your poem is Repulsed.
Yes.
And where are you calling from? It's a 360.
I'm calling from Sequim, Washington.
Yeah, I was going to say it's somewhere in Washington. Yeah. So is there
I'm not doing video. I'll just read it.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, the phone's great too. And so is there anything you want to say to introduce the poem?
Sure. It happened 4 years ago, and the Supreme Court just ruled you can't fire people for being gay, and they brought up Pulse again, where 49 people were shot at the gay bar.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that was another great news story, that there's actually some positive news this week for once. Yeah.
Yes, 2 Supreme Court rulings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 of them, you're right.
Yep.
So go ahead whenever you're ready.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were on. Okay. This is Repulsed. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, dude. People are getting shot, dude. We need to get out of here, dude. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, dude. Barely made it out. Barely is enough. Enough is way too much. No more is too late. The patients have no pulse. Vibrating, pulsating hearts, music, silent. Repulsing blood, cries, silence, ringtones. Everyone get out and keep running away from pulse. Keep running with your pulse. Keep your pulse running. Oh my God, dude. He keeps saying, oh my God, dude. Anguish-faced, tormented vocals, shock eyes, shaking skin. Oh my God, dude. People are getting shot, dude. My God. We need my God. Your God. No God. All God. Our God. All God, dude. All God, dude. All God, dude. People are not getting shot. All God, dude.
Wow, thanks so much for sharing that excellent poem. The rhythm there. That was Diane Knox.
Yes.
Sharing that, and yeah, I remember that video too. Now I'd forgotten about it, but yeah, that was very powerful.
Yeah, it was
terrifying.
breaking news, and this guy, he just couldn't stop saying that. So
I really remember that. Yeah, way to capture it in a poem so well. Thank you so much, Dan.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, have a great rest of your day.
You too. Happy Father's Day.
Oh,
bye.
Thank you. Bye. Let's see. Here's Jessica Dawson. We're going to try her on Skype. She's a little nervous for doing it over the the video, but we'll see. Hey, Jessica, can you hear me? Hello, we hear you and see you. Let me pull you in. Whoop! There you go.
Am I visible?
You are. You're totally visible.
Sorry, you're totally visible.
I'm echoing a little bit, so I'll try not to talk too much. Because, how are you doing today? The echo's fixed. Never mind. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. It's not raining outside like it did yesterday. We're gonna go hang out with friends. It's a good Father's Day to me.
Sounds good. And what poem did you want to share? Was it the "What Do I Know"? Okay.
Yeah. That last poem, unless I missed one between the calls or anything, that "Oh My God" one was the rhythm at the end was
that
like
was really good.
Gosh.
Yeah. I think I might make that a highlight for the highlight reel or whatever. That was a good one. Yeah, for sure. A lot of good poems today. They're all good.
They're super strong.
Yeah.
I feel a little bad because I heard you earlier say, you were kind of looking for more uplifting poems, and I just keep finding myself spiraling into not those. So
I kind of feel like I think everyone is, and that's the only reason I'm looking for it. It's kind of like, stock advice, like flee the crowd or whatever, like don't, go in a different direction. And I try to keep everybody on their toes a little bit. But definitely it's a time of, it's a tough time right now for a lot of people, for most people really.
Sure.
And it's hard to imagine who it's not a tough time for. But anyway.
Okay. So this is What Do I Know? It will start with a quote like most of my poems tend to these days. Okay. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. We are different precisely in order to realize our need of one another. From Desmond Tutu. I grapple with a white past in which I did not exist, but my DNA does. When I was a child and I held the hand of my friend, was she black to me? If I held her hand now, would our bond feel any differently? I wonder about my ancestors and if they had a place in the hell of her ancestors. If I followed my family tree far back enough, would I stumble upon a noose? And if I did, would I crumple under the weight of it? Today, my brother confessed this is the first year he has heard of Juneteenth, and I was embarrassed to admit that I had learned about it from a sitcom that eased my white brain into black culture. This year, more people are absorbing the dark history of a country in which people still whisper the word black. White people do not know how to be uncomfortable in white skin. The guilt of privilege is oppressive. It should hurt. Our brains should swallow everything from our past. I hope our ancestors feel the noose around their necks as new generations gut centuries of white supremacy from their future.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, Jessica. I remember reading this and thinking about a lot for a few minutes after reading. Oh, we're back. Okay. Well, sorry, everybody. My software froze again. But I was saying to Jessica, that was an excellent poem, and it made me think a lot after reading it. Sorry that we froze a little bit. I'm not sure what what's going on. I think I have to maybe uninstall and reinstall my broadcasting software. But thanks for sticking out, and if you hung out through the little dropout again, sorry for that. Hopefully that won't happen. This is the second time in a row, I think, that the second broadcast in a row that did that. So I'm going to have to figure out what's going on. My software just freezes, and I have to restart it. But anyway, I think that is the show for today. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, I think we talked to everybody who wants to talk. So, yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Let me say really quick that this week coming up, and hopefully we won't have any dropouts during the show, but Eric Campbell is going to be the guest on the Rattlecast on number 46. Eric is one of my favorite poets. I've known him since the days when he lived in the jungles of Papua, Indonesia, and we were kind of pen pals, sharing poems. And he's back in Nebraska now, back in the States, but he's one of those world travelers and a great poet and a really interesting person to talk to. So you'll be able to see him on Tuesday night. And the prompt, I should tell you what the prompt is, since it's been so long. We skipped a week. Let me go to Rattle really quick and look up what the prompt is, because I remember it was something about your dream, a poem about your most recent dream. But let me look it up. Write a poem based on your most recent dream. Must not use adjectives or adverbs. So stick to nouns and verbs and articles, and write a poem about your most recent dream. There's the prompt right there. Write a poem based on your most recent dream. Must not use adjectives or adverbs. So that's the prompt poem for Tuesday night's open mic. And feel free to call in and share it the same way it is. It works the same, except instead of news poems, it is prompt poems based on for the open mic. So I'll see you then. This is once again next week's guest, Eric Campbell, this Tuesday, June 23rd at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hope you had a great day. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.